Hey, what's going on, everybody? Justin here. In this video, I want to share my TBR, or more likely, it's probably a better way to put it, as a pile of possibilities for sure on this one, for my participation in the Big Books of Summer 2024 reading challenge. Now, this is a reading event that just recently kind of came up on my feed that I had no idea existed, and it's existed for I think 12 years, I want to say she said in her original video. So it's originally created by Sue Jackson. I'll leave her link down below, but she's been doing this on a bookish blog since 2011, I believe she said. So yeah, definitely check out her video and her content and everything. That's when I heard it was that, like, you know, going on for such a long time, I just wanted to be part of, like, you know, such a venerable tradition, and I just can't believe it's taken me this long to figure this out on the booktube community and everything. But I'd seen a couple of people putting up, you know, big books for summer and everything. I was like, what's going on here? It's reminding me of giving me flashbacks for March of the Mammoths and stuff. So I just figured I would participate as well, because I have a lot of big books as well. And like I said, March of the Mammoths pushed me to read two 800-page books on topics I don't normally read about. So yeah, I might as well just keep it going for summer. Now, the only requirement is to read one big book during summer, which I'm a little bit late to the party. Apparently it's from Memorial Day to Labor Day over in the United States, which, ooh, I can't remember, is it September 2nd this year, September 9th, something like that. Anyways, for Big Books of Summer, a definition of a big book is 400 pages, and I know some of you might be thinking that's not crazy long. I think it's because we like some of the circle that I participate in, like, it was March of the Mammoths was 800 pages, but now that I was like actually looking at my nature books and stuff, I mean, I don't have a single nature book over 800, and I only had 5 or 6, 7, something like that, for over 400 pages for nature reads. So anyways, I feel like I've been talking on quite a long time. Let's just get started. So I split it up between history and science and stuff like that. So let's just get started with Revolutionary Spring, Europe Aflame and the Fight for a New World, 1848 to 1849, by Christopher Clark. I was sent this by Crown Publishing, so thank you to that. But after reading Pursuit of Power, which was all about the long 19th century, it was actually a topic I didn't know much about, and now that I know a little bit about it after 800 pages of that, I kind of want to just jump into a little bit more. This is all about the uprisings and revolutions from January 1848 to, I think it's October 1849. Just tons of different countries in Europe were just doing uprisings, rebellions, insurrections and stuff. Most notably probably with Italy in January 1848. But let's see, was it Denmark got involved, Ireland got involved, obviously Italy I mentioned, all the German kind of Habsburg states, they were trying to kind of doing their own thing as well. Even like the Swiss were doing stuff, so it was just tons. And obviously probably the other big one is France, kind of creating the Second Republic of France before Napoleon III kind of takes over a couple years later. But anyways, just, you know, all of Europe is just, you know, aflame and just going at it and everything, and it's just something I want to like learn more about. So we got Revolutionary Spring right there. So next up is a Folio Society book that I haven't read yet for whatever reason. We got The Normans by David Douglas. So just look at this really nice slipcase. Always really nice, fun reading a Folio Society book for sure. And you kind of got like the blue, I don't know, dyed pages on the top and stuff. It's kind of part of like a Kingdom series that's kind of like unofficial, where all the spines are kind of like in the same style and everything. I don't know anything about this one other than that it was part of the, I think I just got it on a good deal, like on eBay or something, and it was just a Folio book that I wanted to get. After looking it up, it just looks like kind of a generic history of the Normans. I've read a couple shorter books on Norman history, so I'm hoping if I do read this one, my goal, I have about 10 books here. I'm hoping to read at least maybe 5 over the course of June, July, and August. So there's that. But yeah, I want to learn more about like the Normans in Sicily and stuff. You always kind of learn about them, you know, forming up, you know, in Normandy and stuff with like Rollo and everything, and then, you know, the Norman conquest, and then sometimes like in the Crusades and everything. But they were doing a whole lot of stuff like all over the place, so I'm hoping it kind of branches out beyond just kind of the northern France, England kind of stuff that you normally get. Let me know down in the comments below too, if you're going to participate in Big Books of Summer 2024, and if not, or if you are, leave what book you plan on reading that's 400 pages or more. But if not, let me know which books I should read out of these 10, because there's zero chance I'm reading all 10. But like I said, I kind of want to make a good stab at it and keep getting some of these bigger, like doorstoppers, kind of read off my shelves and everything. Next up, I have I don't know if you've ever, well, actually, when I used to have the videos on the kind of the other part of my bookshelves, I have the complete Greek tragedies here, and I just really love it because like Aeschylus and Euripides has 2 volumes, and they got like different little Greek characters and everything on it. But this Aeschylus wasn't quite 400 pages, and I've never actually just like sat down and read through the Greek plays before. Richmond Lattimore is also the editor, who is probably my favorite Greek translator. So I was just thinking maybe like kind of going through either Euripides or Sophocles and just like knocking out all their plays at once. Like I said, I've read probably Aeschylus I've read most of, but like Euripides and Sophocles maybe half. I'd have to like actually like count out the different plays and everything, but it's something I want to do. Yeah, so I figured it'd be a kind of a light kind of change of pace from some of these bigger books as well. Next up, in the Historathon Discord, we were talking about, there was a big long like discussion thread on like the fall of Rome and everything, and I was just joking about how there's like a cottage industry of books and stuff on it, and this is I think the one on my shelves that I actually have not read. But the cool story about this is I think I picked it up for $1 at a thrift store once, and it's if you count the index, it is exactly 400 pages. So I'm totally counting it. It's Barbarians and Romans, The Birth Struggle of Europe, 8400 to 700 by Justine Davis Randers Pearson. The reason I want to pick this, or when I did pick it up, is it's more about like, it seems to be more about like late antiquity, with the years 400 to 700. It's just kind of like the formation of like those Germanic tribes and everything that were invading. Like I don't know, I always do like kind of the air quotes and stuff because it's a lot more complicated than that. But kind of forming their own like little nation states and everything. So I just find that time period really interesting. Plus like kind of like the early church stuff going on between like Catholicism and Arianism and everything is just kind of like interesting to learn about. So that's what I'm going with, Barbarians and Romans. Next up, I do have one history book that I don't have that I'd like to pick up maybe during the summer, and it is A.C. Grayling's History of Philosophy. For those who don't know, I did start a philosophy Discord and everything, so if philosophy is your thing or you're interested in learning more about it, I'll leave a link down below for that as well. But yeah, we were kind of talking about different like secondary sources and everything, and the only overview of philosophy that I've read is Will and Ariel Durant's Story of Philosophy, I believe it's called, and it's kind of I enjoyed reading it, but it's definitely kind of just like a light overview. But apparently A.C. Grayling's is kind of, I think, the new like kind of de facto standard on reading about kind of just like a worldwide history of philosophy. I think it was only written about 4, 5, 6 years ago, something like that. So it should be very contemporary, and like it's been really well regarded from everyone that I know who's read it. So that's pretty cool as well. Next up, I actually have a fiction book for once, and we got The Lord of the Rings here. I was going to pick The Silmarillion. Normally I do a read or a reread of a Tolkien book in the fall for my birthday and stuff, but figuring why not do a little bit early, maybe get an extra one in this year. Silmarillion was only like, both my copies were like in the 300, so I was like, surely one of the 3 books here. I did read The Fellowship of the Ring at the end of last year, so I'm hoping Two Towers is about 400 pages. But I got this really nice edition last Christmas, I believe it was. So yeah, might as well bring it out, get going on the second book as well. It's 1,200-ish pages, so I'm hoping they all kind of like average to 400, but we'll just see what happens. Alright, so there was some like history, some fiction, plays, all that kind of stuff. Next up, we got my nature reads, and I actually there's not a lot of nature nature books and science books that I have that are actually over 400 pages. So I'm cheating with these 2. I won't really count these as like part of the 10, but I got 2 big field guides that I want to use a lot more of. Identifying like plants and animals was something I used to do a lot more as a fun hobby, and I kind of got away from that the past couple of years. So I picked out trees and dragonflies as kind of like my main interest this year, just to kind of learn. And these are both in the Princeton Field Guide series. I actually haven't used the Princeton trees one very much. Granted, I have like I think 10 field guides on trees and everything So you'd think I'd be good at it, but not quite yet. This is the only Dragonfly field guide that I do have, and I think this one is for the east. I believe it's east of the Rocky Mountains in the United States, and there's one for the west of the It's either Rocky Mountains or Mississippi River is usually how they divide it. But anyways, I've used this one quite a bit, and I just really enjoy it. Identifying dragonflies, they're my favorite insect. So for those who've been following my channel, you know I enjoy the outdoors and all that kind of stuff. So anyways, let's just go on to some actual science reads. So first up, we got Kindred, Neanderthal, Life, Love, Death, and Art by Rebecca Rags Sykes. And I've heard this one is really, really, really good. And it's a very like kind of up-to-date contemporary book on Neanderthal, like science and anthropology and archaeology and everything. And everyone that's read it has just like raved and raved and raved about it. So yeah, I definitely need to get to it. I think this one was exactly 400 pages as well, if I remember like looking at it. Yep. So I'm not sure what the chances are of having 2 books at exactly 400 pages is. But it probably means something. It means I'm probably like fated to do pretty well in this readathon, right? I'm hoping. Next up we got Carl Zimmer's She Has Her Mother's Laugh, The Powers, Perversions, and Potential of Heredity. I actually don't know a whole lot about this book. I think I picked it up at I want to say it was a library sale. I do know Carl Zimmer is a pretty well-regarded science author, and he's usually the editor for like the the U.S. best science writing for like each year, and it's like a collection of different essays and stuff. But I think this is all about kind of the nature-nurture argument that's been kind of going on in biology for time immemorial, basically. But kind of all about different like genetics and heredity, and you know what's inheritable, what isn't, or how much of a factor does hereditability play in different, different expressions and different things like that. So anyways, kind of want to, what was I thinking of? Phenotypes? I think that's what I was, the scientific word I was trying to think of. But anyways, like I said, I think this one's like 700 pages. No, I guess it's only about 600 pages, but still, like I said, it might, I'm hoping this one isn't like super sciencey on the genetics and everything, because if not, I might have to brush up a little bit on that. Kind of an opposite of that is Dinosaur in a Haystack by Stephen Jay Gould. He just has like a ton of, he was a prolific science writer, popular science writer, in different like magazines and things. And these books of his are collections of his essays and stuff that were kind of like that are collected and everything. But yeah, they cover tons of ground in each book, so they're just really fun to read. You don't have to read it like straight through. You can just read like an essay at a time, and you just learn tons. Like he had really good science chops, and like I said, but he had a really good like knack for expressing it in like layman's terms, so everyone could understand it. So that's why I'm going with that one. I've only read one of his other collections as well, so this is the biggest one that was over 400 pages that I have. Next up is this banged up copy of Arctic Dreams, Imagination and Desire in a Northern Landscape by Barry Lopez. And sadly, I have not read anything by him yet. I know he's pretty much, the de facto travel, like nature writer and everything. And he's written quite a few books. I think Arctic Dreams is probably his most well-known one. And like I said, everyone that I follow that reviews nature stuff that's read it has really enjoyed it. I haven't really heard anything bad about it. Just very, really good prose. Like I said, kind of in that like travelogue style, but kind of doing more than meets the eye. So that's why I'm going with Arctic Dreams. And then lastly, kind of in conjunction with Carl Zimmer, like these ones I might have to read like back to back. We got The Gene, An Intimate History by Siddhartha Mukherjee. I know he wrote also a couple other like Pulitzer winning, what was it? The Emperor of All Maladies, which I think is a book on like kind of the history of cancer and stuff. But anyways, this one, The Gene, is all about genetics, DNA, RNA, genes, all that kind of stuff. I feel like it probably would pair really well with She Has Her Mother's Laugh. This is probably more about the science and biology, kind of like the nuts and bolts of it, I'm feeling. I've heard really good things about it, and obviously he's won the Pulitzer Prize for one of his other books, so he's got to be a pretty good writer as well. So yeah, just hoping this pans out, and I'm looking forward to it. Anyways, those are the 10-ish books that I plan on trying to get through, maybe half of them during the next couple of months. Let me know down in the comments below which one I should start out with first. Like I said, I've been trying to read, bigger books off my shelves. I think my average page count for like a book this year is like 302 when I last checked Storygraph and stuff. Which I think is about 20 or 30 pages higher than normal, and I think it's because of those 2 March of the Mammoth books. But anyways, like I said, I think this will push it up even further, just trying to push myself, do a little bit more now that I'm back on the tube and everything like that. But thanks so much for watching. If you made it this far, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, all that kind of stuff. But if you really want to support the channel, definitely check out my Etsy shop where I sell things like that and whatnot. It always helps a great deal just when you like items and everything like that. But always remember, whether you're reading a big book for summer or not, read victoriously.